Dear audiences, welcome to our special live streaming program, Ground Breakers, for the upcoming China International Import Expo, which will officially kick off on November 5th in China's financial hub, Shanghai. And actually, there will be more than 3,000 exhibitors attending this year's Expo. And in this very first episode of our special program, we're going to talk about a topic that matters to everyone. Is China's consumer demand declining? It's without doubt the past 3 years has brought tremendous challenges to the global economy. And some people are worrying that China's consumer demand is also declining. So what's the real situation of China's consumer market? We are very honored to invite 4 guests to join our special program. First of all, let me introduce them first. Peter, Marketing Vice President of General Mills International. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Pontus Entel, President of IKEA China.
Thank you.
And Antoine Chaperois, Managing Director of Diageo Great China. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And Andrews, Director for Chinese Mainland and Hong Kong Norwegian Seafood Council.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Welcome, 4 gentlemen. So before we go deeper into the topic, actually, I know all of you are bringing some products this time. So first of all, let me let you introduce the special products. Let's start with Peter. So this is the pet food. We can tell, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely, yes.
Absolutely. So we're working, my company is launching Blue Buffalo pet food products into China this year. We have a couple of different products in our product line. This is a big brand called Wild Spirit, which is a wide range of products for different flavors and different ages of pets. We also have Baby Blue, which is specifically for kittens and puppies. Blue Buffalo is a brand that was launched in the United States about 20 years ago. And it was really started from what the founder identified as he had a dog. He had a strong love for his dog, and he wanted to provide the best pet food possible. And when he realized the quality of the ingredients of the products that were available on the market, he thought there could be a better way. So he started a new brand called Blue Buffalo, which was really based around a philosophy we call love them like family, feed them like family, which means we're using kitchen quality ingredients, we're using human grade ingredients that form a product that the pet likes a lot more, and it's a natural product. So it's a product that meets the nutrition needs of the pet in a way that's much more suited to the pet himself.
Oh, perfect. Well, how about IKEA? I know you can't bring furniture to the venue here, but you are definitely bringing something to us.
Absolutely. A few pieces. This is the Chinese New Year collection that we're launching now during CIIE. And this is an example of the fact that IKEA has the full value chain in China. So we have product development, production, and all different parts of IKEA. It's very few countries outside of Sweden where we have this setup. And I think it's something that is inspired by let's say, of course, the Chinese New Year and everything around it. But it's not the only thing. We will see more things like our home smart speaker, Symfonis, that is being launched. It's a collaboration together with Sonos. And besides that, we will also launch our digital wardrobe planner that is AI engineered, so to speak. So a lot of excitement that is coming during the days.
I know Diageo is not the first-time participant. So what are some of the special things this year?
Look, CIIE offers a fantastic platform to showcase our diverse portfolio and exceptional products. So at CIIE, we will have the range of our whiskies, Johnnie Walker, Singleton, Mortlach, Talisker. And apart from that, we'll also have a range of international spirits portfolio, including Don Julio, Tanqueray, Baileys, and Guinness beer as well. We'll have some real rare and exceptional products, which are more for the whiskey connoisseurs. We'll have Singleton 54 years, which is the oldest ever single malt released by Diageo. We'll have Talisker 45, we'll have collection of special releases, Prima and Ultima, all of that. In specific, I would like to highlight some of the products, which is really where we use to pay tribute to the Chinese culture. So we will have Year of Dragon, Johnnie Walker Blue Edition, Limited Edition, and Johnnie Walker XR Edition as well. The last piece which I want to kind of talk about is the product which we already launched during 2023 MAF. It was bringing all the festive elements into a singleton product, and we launched it at Fujian Tulo with a big fanfare. I have a bottle up there and slightly bigger box, which is out here. Now this will be at the display at CIIE.
It's the Chinese element on it. I can see it, right? Like the two fish
Yes.
on the box.
Yes.
Right. Looking forward. How about seafood? I noticed that you brought something to us this time.
Yes, I'm very happy to be here and represent the Norwegian seafood industry. That's what we are doing with Norwegian Seafood Council. And Norwegian Seafood Council, together with Norwegian seafood industry, we hope to play a positive role and a positive contribution to Chinese consumers' health by adding a solution of choosing Norwegian seafood. And we have roots in this market. Actually, the first Norwegian seafood to China was in the 1860s, here to Shanghai. So we started back then, and today we have, of course, Norwegian salmon, which also will be displayed at CIIE, which is a classic and it's the most loved fish in the world. And we also see it with Chinese consumers. And on top of that, we also promote other species, such as Norwegian Arctic cod, mackerel, shellfish. So we hope with Norwegian seafood, we can contribute something to Chinese consumers, and we can be a choice when a consumer wants to have a nutritious, tasty, and sustainably farmed or harvested seafood.
Are we going to get some free samples at the expo?
Yes, we will have some demos for that, so please come to our booth.
Yeah, sure. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to talk a topic that matters to everyone. It's China's consumer demand declining. So actually, I want to start that question with Diageo. Well, alcohol is not a rigid demand. So how has your sales been doing in China in recent years?
I think just before getting into specifically about Diageo's performance, let me just talk about what China's TBA, or total beverage alcohol market is the biggest market in the world. It contributes to, you'll be surprised, it contributes to 1/4 of the total value of the global alcohol market. It has been vibrant, it has been in growth over the last 3 to 5 years, and within this, international spirits is only 3%. And within international spirits, whiskey is the second biggest category and has been the fastest growing over the last 3 to 5 years. So that's, I would say, this is where the exciting alcohol market or exciting whiskey market is for Diageo. Now, if I look at where Diageo stands, right? So Diageo is a #1 whiskey player in China and also globally. In fiscal 2023, which ended in June of 2023, Diageo announced 13% growth of Scotch whiskey for us in the Greater China market. So we grew double-digit, 13% on Scotch whiskey. And going forward, if I just kind of if I look at 3 to 5 years trajectory, I kind of see that with more and more middle and upper income household coming into fold. I read a statistics which I think was McKinsey. It said like more than 70 million households will be added to that middle and upper income bracket, which is really exciting, right? You know, and this is where we precisely operate. So in some way, I would say for Diageo, it's one of the top 3 strategic markets in the world. And we remain optimistic and confident about the medium and the long-term future, what China offers.
How about seafood? I know like seafood is relatively expensive, right? Like people in China, they have alternative products to buy, such as probably pork, beef. So how has your sales been doing?
This year has been a very strong year, especially for salmon. So if you look at from a numbers perspective of exports from Norway to China, it's up 21% in export value in the first half, year on year. And we see that obviously the reopening of China played a role. We also see that the mega trends, if you will, of the Chinese consumer in more focusing on health, more focusing on nutrition, also plays into this story. So we take a view that the Chinese market is perhaps the most exciting growth market, even in the years to come. And it was alluded here to, obviously, the growth of the middle class. And I think what we are seeing, especially for the Norwegian salmon, is that the distribution is getting into smaller cities. You have a much more taking place on the e-commerce, social commerce platforms, which are very exciting in the Chinese market. And we also see that you may talk about first-tier cities, new first-tier, second-tier, and so on, that even in the second-tier cities, you have the first-tier consumer. And you see that there is a wish for consumption upgrade and also for a high sense of quality towards the products you're buying. And in that regard, we have a very optimistic outlook. And first and foremost, we try to see how can we cater to that curious, but let's also say demanding Chinese customer in terms of delivering the quality, in terms of delivering the story, the function of the product, why you should choose seafood. And the third part for us, which is obviously important, is the origin. That the whole story of the origin of the product, in this case Norway, which we know resonates quite well with the Chinese consumers in terms of being clean and clear waters, beautiful scenery, and a place which is highly regarded for seafood. So we have a very positive view on the future.
Yeah. How about the furniture? Well, it's obvious that China's property market is not doing so well. So at the current moment, are still many Chinese consumers in demand of buying new furniture?
Absolutely. But I think coming back to what also from your opening statement, that I think the past few years have been difficult throughout the world, basically. And I think we are welcoming now the policies that we see around real estate and consumptions in the market, basically. If we look at IKEA, we see a good development in terms of store visitation since January onwards. So it's up around 30%. And we see a big interest both when it comes to food and when it comes to, for example, our interior design services. And I think that there are some specifics that, of course, affordability is important, as always. But we see, for example, high demand for our entry point ice cream, 1 RMB. But also affordable home furnishing solutions like the interior design. But I can also recognize a lot of what you say here, Andreas, that let's say the consumption is shifting a little bit when it comes to going from maybe more functional value, more into emotional value, personal value, social value. And especially when it comes to the health topics and everything around that one. But I think to conclude is that, I mean, China have been, is, and will continue to be a strategic market for IKEA.
Well, pet market is very interesting. I'm a pet owner, and well, I actually attended a pet show earlier here in Shanghai, and some people told me actually the pet market will usually outperform when the economy slows down. So, what's your opinion?
I think the pet category is a really interesting example of you need to understand the macroeconomic environment, of course, but you also need to understand the consumer insights that drive a specific category. And there's a very big trend that we see globally, actually, but it's very true in China, which is the humanization of pets, we call it. And what we mean by that is pets are more and more a really core part of the family, and pet parents want to care for their pets in the best way they possibly can. So we've seen in China, consumers educate themselves a lot about, what's the right pet food for my pet, what are the health concerns, what are the benefits that I should be seeking. And we've seen over the last few years, really a dramatic increase in the number of pet parents overall. So demand is clearly up for the category. If you look at the category across all of China, this year it's up about 11%. Within the premium part of the category, it's up closer to 20%. So there's strong demand. We know that there's strong demand. Equally important for us to be really clear on why that demand is there, understanding the category and the consumer really well, and making sure that we are designing products and then communicating really well to connect with consumers and what they're looking for to take care of their pets.
But are you saying there are more Chinese consumers who are willing to buy more high-end, pet food for their pets?
Yeah, as I said, absolutely. In the dynamic in the category, it's the premium end of the category that's driving the growth right now. So absolutely in line with what you said. And it's because the role that the pet plays in the family and the connection, the emotional connection that pet parents have with their pets has evolved a lot in the last few years. And as consumers get more educated, as pet parents get more educated about what it means to really feed their pet well, they're realizing, hey, I want to give a product like Blue Buffalo to my pet because I see the benefit. And I know that there's a health benefit to my pet to feed them a really high quality food.
But do you think compared with other markets, the China market will see larger potential in the future?
Oh, absolutely. It's going to continue to grow. So today it's about a $9 billion US category. We expect it to continue to grow, particularly the premium end of the category. We expect it to continue to grow roughly 15 to 20% over the next several years, and we'll see how it develops from there. And it's driven by actually the younger generation. So consumers who are pet parents who are in their 20s and 30s who have adopted a pet and are educating themselves about the best way, and they're open to solutions that can come from anywhere, from inside of China, but equally outside of China. And they want to find the best product for their pets. So absolutely, we see that growth is going to continue to outpace the overall economy.
Well, we know the competition is also very fierce, especially when there are many domestic players also entering the market. So all of you are actually foreign exhibitors. So how do you think of the competition at the current moment? I'll start that question with IKEA. You know, we can buy furniture everywhere in China. So do you feel the challenges at the current moment?
I think of it more as opportunities. I think, to start with, I think it's an exciting market to operate in. I have been here for just a year, but IKEA has been here for 25 years. And I think it's a market that is really in the forefront when it comes to development. It's a lot to learn and co-develop with. And here I think it's like I said earlier, that, I mean, also the shift in demand, but also where we see that let's say that when it comes to home furnishing, it's not only about products, basically. It's so much more than that. IKEA has been in the business for 80 years, and the home furnishing is so much more than just the products that we're seeing and sitting on, basically. And having said that, going forward, we see this shift in consumption that we mentioned before, going from functional more to emotional and personal value. And in this market, it's also important that we really leverage on having the full value chain. I think it's something that is really important to develop with China, in China, for China, and for the rest of the world. So we see big opportunities and a market to learn from.
How about Diageo? Well, it's very interesting that just a couple months ago, there's a very famous Baijiu brand cooperated with a Chinese coffee brand and launched a Baijiu flavored coffee. And that was kind of hot, like in the recent months. So do you feel the challenges from the Baijiu makers?
I think, first and foremost, let me start with China as a market has a huge potential for high quality and premiumization led growth for TBA, the total beverage alcohol industry. Now, if I talk about, yes, there are lots of kind of competition coming in, but where I would start with is what we have seen over the last 3 to 5 years. Whiskey as the segment is the fastest growing segment over the last 3 to 5 years in China. Still very small, and which basically means the upside or the growth potential it offers is enormous, right? Now, there are more than 30 local distilleries being built in China as we speak, right? So that's the excitement it has generated in China, not amongst just the consumers, but the various players in the industry. For us, where we stand is essentially we are already #1 whiskey player in the market. So we have that advantage of being there, being big. We are good in terms of, understanding our consumers, and that has been the key ingredient to success, where we need to understand deeply the Chinese consumer trends, what they are looking for, what their demands are. And as it was mentioned, Chinese consumers are demanding, they're different, the trends are different. So it's making sure that we understand that, that's critical. And we are investing a lot more to make sure that we are staying ahead of the curve in making sure having that understanding. So with that scale and the strong consumer understanding, we are confident about what it holds for us in future. Now, some of the examples which I kind of can bring in is we recently opened research and development R&D center in Shanghai, like in August 2023. That's just about making sure that we are able to act and react at pace, combine our deep consumer insight and translate that into products which will appeal to the Chinese consumers. We are also building a single malt distillery in Eryuan in Yunnan, which will open in 2024, and that, in a way, for us, we take pride in saying that that will put China on the global whiskey map by offering the premium high-end single malt whiskey from China.
Are you considering probably also do some crossover marketing with other brands, like to attract more Chinese consumers?
Absolutely, in terms of we keep exploring all the opportunities, and this is really about understanding consumers and understanding their passion points. So we keep exploring whether we should partner with music, with artists, with nightlife, players. So it's really staying tuned into understanding the passion points and making sure we are playing into those passion points and delivering what Chinese consumers are looking for.
How about the two food makers? Well, the appetite of Chinese consumers is very sophisticated. So I'll start that question with Andrew.
Well, yeah, and I think it's a great question, and I think at least from Norwegian seafood point of view, we have a strong commitment to the Chinese market. I mean, being part of CIIE is one part of it, but we've also been here for more than 25 years, and I think it was mentioned here by Pontus that it's an opportunity to engage in a landscape with domestic also suppliers, because as I see the seafood market in China in some respect is that it's not a zero-sum game in a way. It's something that we together can develop, because it's part of the solution for the future to consume more seafood. We know that now only 2% of the world calories come from seafood. So let's see how can we together increase the usage of seafood, be it sustainably farmed or fished. And I think in that respect, what Norway can offer is also a species and type of seafood that China naturally do not have. I mean, we're talking about cold water species like cod, mackerel, shellfish, those types of fish. So we think we can be a complement to the Chinese market. And I think what is also a key objective for Norwegian seafood is how can we localize? How can we make the seafood relevant to the local flavors? We know there is such a variety in the Chinese kitchen, so that's a task we also take quite seriously. We collaborate with a lot of local key opinion leaders, like KOLs. We are present on the Xiaohongshu, the Red app. We work in WeChat videos, educating the consumers how can the Norwegian seafood be adapted into the local Chinese kitchen. And I also see the industry players using Norwegian seafood locally also spend a lot of efforts in that regard. So all in all, when you have such a vast market like China has, you have people at the coast, you have people at inland, you have cities, you have more in rural areas. The types of demand will also differ. So there's space for everyone. There will be focus on premiumization to have more import high-end products, and then you have people who would like to go for the local products. It's about affordability. There's a lot of factors in play, but my point is space for everyone, and let's see how can we just lift more seafood consumption. I think it's good for China. I think it's good for the world.
I'm also curious about your logistic chain. Over the past 3 years, it's been very difficult to get more seafood into the China market. So how about the process at the current moment?
Now it's working very good. You're right. I mean, there were a couple of years where the logistics were more of a challenge in the pandemic period. I must give kudos to the industry players on both sides. They really make an effort to get the product to China and also handle it properly in China. But right now, good news is that it's back to normal, and I think what we see in China, there's a fantastic infrastructure also in place for securing cold chain logistics, which is an important part for getting more seafood out into various parts of China.
How long will it take for salmon to ship to the China market?
It's delivered from slaughtering to arriving to China can be within 3-4 days.
3-4 days?
Yeah.
On Chinese people's tables?
Yeah, if they're really fast, yeah. Maybe add a day or two on it. Yeah.
So how about the General Mills? I know like in China, you not only own this pet brand, you also own dumpling brand, ice cream brand. So how about, do you think domestic players are also like bringing some challenges to your sales in China?
Well, I think one theme that you've heard across the discussion so far is we all view China as a growth market, and it's not a surprise that local competitors also view China as a big growth opportunity, right? And you're right. So General Mills, we have Haagen-Dazs ice cream, we have Guanche Ferry dumplings here in China as well as Blue Buffalo. And our company has been around for 157 years. If we've been successful for 157 years, I think some of that is because we understand our consumers really well. And I go back to something that Atul said, which is we have a philosophy of being consumer first. So for us to compete well with local competitors and international competitors, it's really all about being consumer first. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of really important execution that we need to do in the China market. You mentioned logistics. That's part of the challenge. But if we stay true to the consumer and we focus on the consumer first, we think we'll identify pain points for pet parents, and we'll identify opportunities, things that bring them new benefits that will help us compete well in the market. So that's really our focus. If we stay consumer first, I think everything else we can work it through.
I know you are going to attend a live streaming show this afternoon in Hangzhou. Yeah. So that's for the upcoming W11 shopping festival. Right. So in terms of marketing, what's your strategy to attract more Chinese consumers?
Well, we're very active on Xiaohongshu, as Andreas was referencing. Live streaming is an important part of it. I would say longer term, what's really important is that we drive brand awareness around the core promise of Blue Buffalo. So whether the media channel is a live stream or the media channel is Xiaohongshu or some other format, our goal is to really stay as much as possible in front of consumers so that we can drive brand awareness for the brand. So we're investing heavily in driving brand awareness right now to start to launch the brand, and we're investing well ahead of the sales trend, let's say, so that we can create the awareness for the brand and create the awareness, most importantly, for the benefits that Blue Buffalo brings. We want to make sure that we differentiate ourselves really well from all of these other competitors that are in a big market. So that driving of the brand awareness is really important for us.
So I know all of you are actually global companies. So my next question is, compared with other foreign markets, how important is China's market to your company? So I'll start with IKEA.
Absolutely, very, very important. And like I mentioned before, I think it has been, and it is, and it will continue to be a very strategic market for IKEA. We've been here doing business with China since the 60s, presence since the 1990s when it comes to supply chain, and we opened our first store 25 years ago. And I think even if we're 25 years in, we're only at the beginning. How many stores do you have across the country right now? 35.
Do you have any expansion plans in the future?
We have more coming. So we have in the spring, we have our second store opening in Xi'an. And then next autumn, we're opening here in Shanghai, in Lincoln, a co-development together with the shopping center Livat, which is the same in Xi'an. So a lot of things to look forward to.
Are you seeing more potential from third or fourth tier cities?
Absolutely. But I think it's more that we want to reach out to the many people, both when it comes to the physical expansion, but also digital, of course, and to building this whole omni experience with presence throughout the different platforms that have been mentioned here by the colleagues.
How about alcohol? You mentioned Diageo. You mentioned that China's market is actually the top 3 market for Diageo.
From strategic importance perspective, and I think that's where I would just go. Yes, it's one of the top 3 most strategic markets for Diageo across the world. I already spoke about the growth potential it offers. The consumption upgrade which is happening in China is enormous, and this is where, as a premium spirits company, it offers a big potential for Diageo. We are also very encouraged by China's policies to propel the high quality growth and the consumption upgrade, and that we can see in the 14th five-year plan, the dual circulation policies. It's all there, and as Diageo, what we always encourage is to drink better, not more. We operate in the premium segment, the super premium segment of the market, and that's what we are seeing as a trend in China as well. So, no, it is a fantastic opportunity. It's of a great importance for Diageo, and because the market offers a fantastic opportunity for growth here.
How about the Norwegian seafood?
Well, as you talk about Norwegian Seafood Council and seafood, there's long roots in the market. Norwegian Seafood Council has been in for more than 25 years, so there's a commitment and a long-term thinking. In terms of numbers, China year to date is the 7th largest in value in terms of exports from Norway, and the 4th largest in volume. So around 5% thereabout in Norwegian seafoods in terms of value goes to China. And that translates into around 5 billion RMB year to date. What we're seeing very positively this year when it comes to importance is the Norwegian salmon, which has had a very strong year. And it's climbed to be the top market in Asia for Norwegian salmon. It used to be Japan, Korea, and so on, but this year China took the top spot, which we're very happy about. And we see that this trend is going to continue, and we have strong belief in the development of the Chinese salmon market. We think that this will now come out in more channels, it will be more availability, and we also see that there is a higher interest among consumers to buy Norwegian salmon. So overall, China market has been important, it continues to be important. And there is a strong commitment for Norwegian seafood industry to continue developing the market towards consumers and together with Chinese industry players.
How about Peter?
Yeah, so for General Mills, we're an American company, obviously, so the United States is our biggest market. Outside of North America, China is our next largest market. So it's a market that we've been committed to for a very long time. Haagen-Dazs ice cream was first launched in Shanghai in 1990. Wanchai Ferry dumplings have been around even longer than that. So we have two core brands that have really built a strong business, that roughly 5 billion RMB in retail sales today in China, with strong growth in the recent past, as well as strong growth potential for the future. So for us, absolutely, it's our largest single market outside of the United States, and it's a key focus for us moving forward. Which is why, obviously with Haagen-Dazs, we continue to invest in Haagen-Dazs. With Wanchai Ferry, we continue to innovate behind that brand as well. And bringing Blue Buffalo really represents the third pillar of our global expansion into China.
Back to CIIE. I know all of you are not first-time participants. Why do you want to come back?
Sure. It's a great opportunity to share new products, to share innovations, and to connect with people, outside of our day-to-day, let's say. So obviously for us to talk about Blue Buffalo is a great opportunity to highlight that product, and we're actually hosting a Pet and Health Nutrition Summit during CIIE. So it's a great opportunity to connect with experts in academia, experts in government, experts across the industry. So for us, that's a really meaningful part of why we're here. Also, coming out of COVID, it's just a great chance to reconnect as well. So it's the second time for us that we've participated in CIIE, and I'm sure we'll continue to do so in the future because it brings us a lot of opportunities to connect across the country.
Actually, CIIE will be the first place for you to debut this product, right?
That's right. That's right.
Why you choose CIIE? Is that because like the Double 11 Shopping Festival is also coming? Probably the timing.
Right. Yeah. Clearly, the timing works well for us. But to be clear, the launch of Blue Buffalo is much bigger than hitting a Double 11 timeline, right? For us, the launch of Blue Buffalo is all about the long-term opportunity in China. And when we come to CIIE, it's a chance to meet a lot of people outside of our company, obviously, but outside of our day-to-day industry, and make connections that help us understand where is China going in the future, and help us make connections that help us, frankly, grow the business into the future.
How about IKEA?
I think very similar to what Peter said. It's a great place to maintain and build relationships, both when it comes to authorities, business partners, and consumers. And I think when it comes to launching new products, in general, basically. And this year, I think specifically, we had the chance to be a supporting company to the Sustainable Consumption Forum. So this is something that I'm specifically looking forward to this year.
Yeah, you mentioned sustainability. You are also the Chief Sustainability Officer of IKEA China. What do you think of China's efforts in doing these green projects?
I think it's something that where we see many opportunities, and I think it's a lot of good things that are happening in the market, and I think it goes hand in hand with the trends we see in the consumption and among consumers, where it's a clear direction to go towards more sustainable consumption, smarter consumption, basically.
I know like European countries are all doing these sustainable projects. So what do you think of China's efforts in this green development?
I think there are many good examples of how this is moving. And like I said, that we can see that this is something where going forward, where I think it's all parts of the society needs to move forward. It's both about that putting the right policies in place that are happening, where the business communities needs to play their role, and where consumers needs to play their role. And I can see that this is a journey that is starting to move.
But do Chinese consumers care about sustainability?
To answer yes or no, I would say yes.
Why?
Because I think the awareness, what we see in our, let's say in our studies, is that the awareness in society among people, also here in China, is that there's a high awareness about and concern about sustainability. And I think it's something that is starting really from a personal, let's say, health and wanting to live a more healthy and sustainable life, basically. So I think there's clear signs of this going forward.
How
Maybe
about
just adding on to that, right? I think, yes, what we see is Chinese consumers deeply care about sustainability. And that's the space which is kind of getting bigger and bigger in a way. So our Ariwan whiskey distillery, it will be completely carbon neutral. So that's what we are kind of focusing on, because Chinese consumers value that and Chinese consumers care for that. So it fits in what we as a business globally are trying to drive and what consumers in China also are looking for.
But why CIIE matters to you?
Oh, CIIE, I think, it's a fantastic platform to showcase the most loved whiskey brands of Greater China consumers, which is Johnnie Walker, Singleton, and our diverse portfolio. But beyond that, I would say it's also an opportunity to showcase other things what we are doing. Like Diageo is in China for China, so all the other innovation opportunities as we are investing in R&D hub, as we have actually, we're building distillery, we have also opened regional logistics hub down in Shenzhen. So it's also about having those dialogues. It's a great platform in some way, right? It's also for us to learn what's happening in other industries, whether it is consumers or not, where the trends are, where consumer occasions are kind of evolving. And it has been a great learning opportunity to be on this elite panel and kind of really hear the thoughts. And CIIE is kind of just the bigger platform, magnified platform. Also CIIE is I would say, epitome of China government's efforts to advance the high level openness, and that's kind of witnessed across that forum or that exhibition. That's what we kind of love to kind of be there, engage in the dialogues with consumers and also beyond.
Andrews, do you think CIIE also provides you an opportunity to learn about the China market?
Yeah, definitely. And I think we were there for the first time last year, Norwegian Seafood Council, where we had 8 participating exporters. And this year we have increased it up to 12 participating exporters on our stand, the seafood from Norway. So I agree with all the distinguished panelists here. I think CIIE is, just to sum it up, it's a great platform. And also, I think what we are trying to do is, obviously one thing is to promote to the various stakeholders, be it government, local value chain consumers, get inputs back. But what I tell to the participants in our stand is, consider it not a stand but a stage. And we also have arranged for that Norwegian companies can have interactions with their Chinese counterparts. We had last year agreements that were signed and business relationship forged at CIIE. So I think in the CIIE spirit of the openness of China, the opportunities in the market, and the importance of building it together with your Chinese partners, it captures all of it, and we will continue to be there also in the years to come.
Perfect. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time, and enjoy your time at the CIIE. So we are only 2 days away from the grand opening of the 6th China International Import Expo, which will run between November 5th and the 10th. Well, in the past years, foreign companies have shown their enthusiasm in the China market. And in the past, a total of $35 billion worth of deals have been signed during the past 5 expos, and there will be more coming this year for the 6th CIIE. As I mentioned earlier, there will be more than 3,000 companies showing their latest product at upcoming China International Import Expo. And in the following days, our special program, Ground Breakers, will continue, and my colleagues will bring in topics such as food trade, logistics, and foreign investments. Stay tuned, and bye for now.